Lawson presents a Consultwebs audio blog. Legal Advertising. What if the waste is the part that works? By Jacob Sanders. Half the money I spend on advertising is wasted. The trouble is, I don't know which half. It's a quote from John Wanamaker. And it's a question that has plagued marketers since time immemorial. How can you guarantee that a hefty portion of the money you've invested in advertising comes back to you in the form of customers and isn't wasted? Wanamaker's quote has been used by marketers to explain everything: why measuring return on investment and other business metrics is so important, why tracking leads through a CRM is key, or why hyper-targeted ads are purportedly more effective than mass media. While the digital incantation of marketing promised us less waste and more trackability, law firm owners are still having difficulties measuring marketing ROI and thusly find it difficult to reduce all of the waste in their advertising. But what if the waste in advertising is the part that works? The research. In Tim Ambler's 2004 piece, The Waste in Advertising is the Part That Works, published by the University of Cambridge in the Journal of Advertising Research, he showed that waste, or the perceived extravagance of an advertisement, contributes to advertising effectiveness by increasing credibility. Ambler's research project drew heavily on biology to explore advertising effectiveness, especially something called the Handicap Principle. And in nature, the Handicap Principle is basically animals using wasteful characteristics that signal their biological fitness. The study discovered functional aspects of advertising not associated with the core message, developing a deeper understanding of advertising's role in transmitting information and shaping persuasion. The research shows that perceived waste is a significant driver of the perceived quality and reliability of a brand, with substantial consequences for advertising persuasion. Ambler discovered that consumers could distinguish the perceived expense of or waste in an advertisement, and that this influenced their assessment of that brand's quality and reliability. Ambler then established that opinions of quality and reliability played a substantially different role in brand choice when consumers are exposed to advertisements than when they weren't. These findings can be used by marketers to determine how much money they want to spend on an ad, what they want to say in an ad, how they want it to look, and how they're going to test the effectiveness of their ad campaigns. The paper also demonstrates that handicapping is particularly useful to brands in product categories that can be regarded as credence goods, not available on a shelf, as well as brands seeking to differentiate themselves from close competitors. The finding is interesting. The closer in appearance a product or service is to its direct competitor, the more important conspicuous waste and its measurement becomes. The science. Law firms operating in the United States are a part of an ecosystem defined by markets. In our marketplace society, we typically have a wide variety of options for services and products. It's a common belief that consumers in a marketplace weigh the rational merits, features, and benefits of one choice against a few others, and advertising is a chance for brands to sway and secure the undecided consumer. However, we just discovered that advertising works in ways outside of the core function as a communicator of facts. The perceived waste that goes into an ad impacts its effectiveness. On a rational level, this makes no sense, but on a biological level, it's the law of the land. Branding and waste are a fact of nature, and this peacock proves it. You can hear the sound and it's really distinct, but when you think of the iridescent colors and the plumage and the feathers of a peacock, why would they have this if Darwinian survival is a paramount concern, avoiding the attention of a predator? Why would a peacock draw attention to itself like this? Might as well have an eat me sign around its neck. You naturally know the reason for the plumage. It's to meet chicks. And this is all biologically explained in the handicap principles that animals show off to an irrational degree because it signals biological fitness, longevity, and vitality. So, more than the economic concerns of loss or getting eaten and avoiding extinction, the greatest fear in the biological world, one that overrides rational thought and logic, is that you'll never be noticed and your genes won't be passed on. And so, to override the boring, to elevate the everyday to the extravagant, to create a marketplace, nature has concocted an amalgam of branding in the colors of flowers, the dance of bees, the size of antlers on a moose, that weird bugling red throated thing on a frigate bird. I mean, really, why would they have that? If rationality and economic logic were key characteristics to human survival, we'd all be sharing heroic stories of brave accountants and actuaries rather than firefighters and soldiers. If we all loved rational thought so much, we should have pictures of Volvos in our locker rooms and not Corvettes. Ogilvy Vice Chairman Rory Sutherland's new book, Alchemy, covers the handicap principle and brilliantly connects it to branding in business. Here's a quote. Branding in nature is flowers, colors, peacocks, signals that transmit worth, value, merit, sexual conquest. So it is with brands. Without good branding, a good, rational product doesn't have what it takes to survive. Sutherland continues, it is impossible to generate trust, affection, respect, reputation, status, loyalty, generosity, or even reproductive opportunity by simply pursuing the mandates of rational economic theory. And that's the most important lesson to connect with. If the goal of advertising is to get noticed, then rational thought is truly the antithesis of an effective advertisement. The application. How to bring this to your law firm. Once you accept the biological principles behind the handicap principle in your marketing heart, once you endorse the findings of Ambler's work that perceived waste can be effective, well, then the fun begins. How can you bring these theories to your law firm's marketing and advertising? Here's a few suggestions. Web design. A law firm's website is its billboard on the information superhighway. How could you move away from rationality and head towards the handicap principle in your homepage design? Is it bold and branded or rational, safe, and boring? Creative assets. If we accept that signaling is important, a great way to strategically signal reliability and quality online is by featuring creative assets on your law firm's website that align with certain subtopics or practice areas that fall within your expertise, such as traumatic brain injuries, spinal cord injuries, or trucking accidents. A dynamic, well-designed resource page gives a law firm an opportunity to show off in an engaging and provocative way. Digital advertising. As part of a multi-channel marketing approach to developing your business, PPC, pay-per-click advertising, is essential for law firms looking to compete online. However, it is an expensive endeavor, and without a strategy, you can spend a ton of money in a short amount of time. How much? A lot. According to one study, 90% of the most expensive keywords in digital advertising are in the legal industry. The top one, accident lawyers in New Orleans, costs $884 for one click. Imagine if you had to pay $884 for one click. Now consider that not every click is a conversion and that you might possibly have to get 100 or so clicks to see any real traction. So that's $88,000 for one term in one campaign. The amount of money being spent on digital ads, the handicap principle should kick in, right? Unfortunately, people know that a billboard is expensive, a TV spot is expensive, but no one, even some lawyers paying for PPC, know how expensive keywords and cost per click advertising can be. So how can you leverage PPC into a Peacock Opportunity? We praise digital advertising because it's so cheap, but what if there was a way to use PPC as a costly signal? First, have a dynamic and bold brand. Defining a brand for your law firm and the memorable creative assets around it is the essential ingredient to having effective advertising. Strong colors, powerful taglines, great creative, memorable assets that repeat over time. You got to get this handled before you make any ad. Second, use tech to retarget website visitors and serve them your ads. At my old law firm, I would talk to clients about marketing, and they would say, I see you everywhere, even on my computer. That's the goal, and an effective use of quote unquote cheap advertising real estate to send a costly signal. In conclusion, the handicap principle is a massively important theory to marketing and advertising. Signals of vitality are important for your business. The perceived cost of your marketing can impact its effectiveness, and this is all because of natural laws, not the latest technical trend. Wasteful signals don't have to be pricey like billboards or television ads. Can you leverage your existing assets with a dollop of creative execution? Is your homepage boring or bold? Is your content enthralling? Could it be? Can you find your feathers?